I paid
So let
enough
me
of that in
ask,
taxes and that crap that I watched in the elections the last 3 days. I don't need no more of that crap.
So I think there's
So
So
I'll
let me-
there's
vote no
three
on that.
categories that have to be defined. One is resident use, resident and guest use, and non-resident, non-guest use. Those are the three categories that we have to define.
Doug, I don't think
But-
that's
Okay.
the question, not the definite, we know who's resident, who's not, whatever. How do you enforce it?
Well, no, well,
How do
first
you-
is the policy. First is the policy, and then enforcement is the second piece. Now, the
I think the
value.
enforcement,
Well-
you've got to have that hand in hand
Yeah.
with what
No,
it is.
I don't disagree, but I
You
think
gotta know you gotta
enforcement,
have a
Right.
enforcement will be a hell of a lot easier when the admin building gets put up. We have, and then we can talk about park employees being able to regulate, provide oversight, because they would be on site. I mean, we have some on site today, but it would be different because it'll be based either out of the admin building, or we'd have, a hub set up either at the pool or somewhere else.
Well, I think to everyone's point here, and Doug, you hit the nail on the head. We've operated under an assumption and having a policy in place that if you're a resident, you're not allowed to bring your guests. I don't care if your cousin from Indiana flew in, it's going to cost you or your guests to come in. That needs to be defined by this board.
okay, so Chelsea, I want to add to this. I don't know if everybody can remember the conversation we had when we were doing the structuring of the fees. I brought it up that we can do, and I think Doug may recall it, the daily usage fee for things like that, because somebody's not going to come in for, a one-time use. They're visiting, they're not going to pay the $70 or $100 that we charge, but they would pay a daily use for that day. But then you mentioned that we would have restrictions because how would they pay for it? Because you would have to have a credit card or something like that. Then we asked you to look in within Facilitron that if that's the case, could they do a one-time payment for a single day use of the pool on Facilitron? I don't think we got an answer on that.
And that's what we're working towards is Carrie and the Pratt Committee are evaluating these types of systems that we can have a point of sale on an iPad there. Right now, we don't have that capability unless they're sitting at a computer. So providing and suggesting a robust, I think you guys at Pelican have a type of program like this where you can sign up for different time slots for the pickleball courts, but we're looking at this as more of a membership. They can get their membership and their access pass tied into one system. And then if they do have a guest that attends, they can pay a daily rate, a weekly rate, a monthly rate, a yearly rate, whatever that may be. I know PRAC did discuss at the last meeting, $240 to be the year rate if they wanted a year pass. I believe that's if more than what our residents pay in your annual tax or non-ad valorem assessments. So these are all discussions that are ongoing at the PRAC level and with staff at these types of programs, because again, the policy is not a written policy. It's kind of just been how we've been operating, but these are all questions that have come up as we're anticipating this park to open. Because yeah, people are going to want to play pickleball. They're going to want to come from outside of the community, and do we want to allow them, and at what cost? So the fee schedule numbers, we're looking at comps at what other people do, but then also evaluating what our burden is going to be.
Well, I would rather defer and certainly not put any money up right now until we learn more, until we know what our building's going to do, and we know what the first section of the recreational facilities is going to do, and then address some of these. We're too far down the road to spend $80,000 for a light.
And to me, there's a couple things here. One, we have to look at the facility as a whole. What is the intent of use, and what is the benefit to the community, and what is the opportunity for revenue? So when we think about that, if we're daytime operations versus nighttime operations, if we're going to put lights, and I can't remember if we agreed we're putting lights on the new amenities, the pickleball.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so if you're going to provide lights for the pickleball and not for the pool, that's fine as long as it's gated and you can't have access. But let's say playground, unless the playground is gated and you have to have access, which is, I don't, that's the plan. But you don't want to have, like, let's say the playground not lit at night when you've got other amenities lit. And we had that problem at the soccer field for a while where the lights were on the fields, but the playground lights weren't on, and it did not stop the kids at all from playing on the playground because there was no restriction. The other thing is, I would like to see Carrie and the Parks and Rec team come back with a plan. You can maximize your revenue on, let's say, pickleball at night to run your leagues and that type of stuff. Adult leagues can go up until, I mean, shoot, some of the other leagues go until almost 12 o'clock at night in Collier County and other areas. Same thing, would be the plan I would look at for the soccer field use as well. The pool, on the other hand, if you had lights on it, what revenue opportunity would there be, or what added benefit to the community? Would we have increased use at the pool, which could also align with rentals for the pool, all these different things. But I think what the board is saying, we don't have enough usage at the pool right now to warrant additional costs. But in the future, if we had more usage at the complex from a holistic perspective, then it might be financially feasible at that time if either it adds a benefit to the community that is wanted, or it provides revenue or some type of other opportunity for the district.
Both your and Bob's point, that's kind of been the mindset of the PrAC is, hey, let's let this get up and running for a little bit of time.
Before we walk and walk before we run.
Exactly. And then see what the demand is. And it may not be a demand, but again, these are just options that we brought to the table. So the light.
Sure, if we're ever going to get outside pickleball teams. I mean, there's enough residents over here. You don't need them. I mean,
Well,
Pelican is.
and I think that's what my plan would be for Parks and Rec, is for us to start managing and running leagues so we can actually turn some type of revenue profit.
Well, but
by
if
having a
it's
true program.
if it's all residents using the pickleball courts.
Your bigger deal is going to be how you're going to control usage. That's your biggest.
Well, that gets
That
back
requires
to the
a
scheduling.
warm body. Somebody's got to be out there, because you're going to have people, we have it at the country club. Somebody has the pickleball court from 9 to 11, and 11:30 they're still playing. And you got other people that want to get on. Who's going to do anything about it?
Yeah, who runs over their time? And,
Yeah.
it has to be managed, because if all
I
things
haven't
go
seen
well, it
that
will
to
be very
be
busy.
a problem in Pelican in 20 years. People are pretty courteous about that. Now, that's not to say somebody might not be there that's not supposed to be there, but there's nobody waiting for their court.
So continue.
Monument sign at Commons.
So we actually have a proposal coming to you at the next meeting with some ideas and concepts. So we don't like you go into any administrative complex, you normally have a sign, a kiosk sign that says what's there. I know we've kind of talked about it in the past about potentially having it be digital. That way we could sell on there or update, if you guys have a board meeting today at 2, you have a normal session at 3. But Randy's been working on that project. We've got some concepts coming in front of you at the next meeting for your input.
With pricing, right? A fixed sign is one price. This digital with.
Rough pricing, estimate, budget pricing, yes.
Is this
estimate pricing.
sign for the building or for the park
The complex as a whole.
as a whole?
So if you do a digital sign, you could have it rotate, with the pickleball times and board meeting times and,
Events
facility
coming up.
events.
Just so I'm clear, so if you had your monument sign, you would have whatever the name of the Gateway Commons Administrative Complex, and then you'd have your digital sign?
It's kind of, it's one and the same.
Okay.
But we'll have this, but this is a cost that is not part of the current project. It is outside the limits of OAK's responsibilities, but we already have electricity out there, and then the contractor could pull the permit, but it really depends on your selection. But I believe this is a need, and it could be a revenue generator if you chose to go digital. Or we could do stationary, and that would be fine as well.
Is there going to be an entrance gate at the Commons?
Yes.
And you'll have to put your key card or something, or a code or something, or what?
It's a vehicle, well, it's a vehicle access gate, and it'll shut at dark. It won't necessarily be a fobbed access.
Oh,
So
so
it'll
it
be
isn't
open during
every
the
time
day.
you go in and out?
It'll be open during the day, and then we'll close it at night.
Okay.
This that we're talking about, I thought
But
it's
how
just
are you
purely a
gonna keep-
monument.
She asked another question.
So anybody can come in at any time during the day?
Yeah, because, what if they don't have an access pass and they need to come to our administrative building, or if it's a contractor? It has to be
I
open.
think the question is to the park itself, Chelsea, because I believe they will be able to get in up to a certain point, and after that, it will be the fenced area.
No, the only fence that we have proposed is vehicle access fencing. And that's at the front entrance in and out, and then that's at the back side, the emergency access entrance.
But then you're still gonna have your access control at the pool. They're gonna need a car
Yes.
to that. They're gonna have your access control to go to the pickleboard. So, so that's what, so I guess that's what you need to clarify, Carol. So they'll be able to go in, but they will not be able to utilize any of the parks and recs amenities, because for that specific amenity that they want to use, they're gonna need an access code or an
They
access
could
control.
walk, they could walk the grounds, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to access into the pickleball courts, because that's a fobbed access.
Well, this gets
Unless
back to,
somebody lets them in,
this gets
or they
back to my,
just follow right behind somebody else who just went in.
this gets back to my
Or-
question. If you were having a fee structure, somehow, some way, one, who's collecting it, where are they collecting it, and how are they enforcing it? The biggest one is how are they enforcing it. If there isn't a fence and a gate and a guard at the gate, you might as well not even have it, because they're just gonna come in, and anybody will come in, and then they'll be doing whatever they want to do. So I'd much rather take the monument sign and use it to buy fence first.
Oh, man, what's the point of
Right,
having a
fence
park
it.
if you're gonna put a fence around it and require everyone to carry a fob or an ID, or like, if I want to send my
The residents are
16-year-old,
paying for it.
yeah, but I mean, there's some controls that we can put into place that don't require us to put a fence around our park and to lock every amenity
That
down.
requires a body then.
It's cheaper.
It
Yeah.
requires a body.
We have bodies today. And I'm not disagreeing that we need to control access. I'm just saying, let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater and lock everything down. So then it becomes such a pain in the ass to use the amenities that people get frustrated and they don't use them.
And again, Prac has had the mindset of, let's operate it. If we do have people trespassing, we'll have park attendants there to help enforce. I'll be there. Laura, we'll have staff there from 7 to,
How are they going to know, Chelsea, who is who? How are they going to know that? Unless you
The
have.
Facilitron we're using Facilitron to book the.
well, we're
pickleball,
looking at a
essentially.
different program for same concept as Facilitron, where you rent the pickleball courts from this time to this time. But you'll have to have a fob in order to access those, and that would be issued at the administrative complex, just like it is now, and at the pool.
Bob, to access the park or to access the amenities within the park?
Amenities within the park,
So the pickleball court,
access.
so it's got to be fenced then?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So like
Joan
those
Harry
types of
just
things
can't
we
walk up
control.
and start playing, hopefully.
Again, there's all the nuances where somebody could let them in, they could trail in, yes, but it's going to be fenced, it's going to be fobbed.
Okay. Any other
I
questions?
have a question. I do. I have a question. Hey, I guess this is for Laura. Laura, where is the cost for the district for a full-time, like what are we paying now for a full-time, I would just say maintenance, right? What is the cost of the district between 50 to 60,000, including insurance and everything else?
Probably 50.
But it have to be a pool attendant, not a,
Yeah.
Okay, no,
it's
so
different
that's not,
class.
that's not my question. So,
Okay.
so I'm just going with the dollar, right? So if it comes to it, we'll have somebody there 8 hours a day, $50,000 a year, and then we'll take care of everything else. A car comes in, just like how we go in federal parks. Your car comes in, there's 4 people, and you live here. Okay, there are no costs. You don't. $10, $15. Then they go in. If you can eliminate all that, if you don't want to fence everything and access everything, you just have one
Guardhouse.
employee that's going to be at that gate, and it will take care of all of this for us. So that's one thing. And then I want to kind of revisit the parking lot, because Doug mentioned this a few meetings back. We do have a huge opportunity and with parking. And I think, Doug, did you mention there's about 816 kids on soccer?
on average, there's 800 registered kids. So that means, let's say on a Saturday, if we use the math, 8 times 3, that's about what you're gonna traffic. You're gonna
20,
get
so
on.
so that's what I was doing. So I did just for entire week. I did, if we have 816 times, 2 vehicles for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's 2448. Then times that by the 52 weeks of the year, we're looking at almost $200,000 of income that we can get on parking on 3 days a week for $2, which $2 is extremely reasonable.
And it's not unreasonable to charge for parking. I mean,
Yeah, so I
almost
think
every
for, you
weekend I've
know,
got to travel to some type of sporting event, and they're either charging parking to get in or admission into the park facility itself. It doesn't matter how you
So-
do it.
so that would help us in 2 ways. One, it will help us with bringing money in revenue to actually almost self-pay for that parking lot, right? And two, it will also have people rethinking, instead of the grandparents coming in one car, the mom comes in another car, and then the aunt comes in another car. Maybe they'll come in one car, and then we won't have that so much of an overflow. But I really do think that we absolutely, regardless if we move forward or not with the parking lot expansion, that we should have a parking fee. I think $2 it's extremely low. But once you're crunching those numbers, and we're not even talking about flag football, we're just talking about soccer. That is a huge opportunity that we have there, because it's 100% money that goes into us. Doesn't go to the leagues, it goes straight to us.
We don't need anything to start that, right? We can start that tomorrow if we want.
We can,
Yeah, I mean,
start now. All we have to
The
do is the
logistics
public
you have to
hearing,
work out, but
public hearing,
we've got a
and then
lead in. You can actually set up even a tip, because they don't have some parks don't have an actual gate. You set up your temporary marker, and you can have one person at right about where our gateway, or just before the gate, because you have to be careful too, because
Queue the truck onto the
queue
road.
up, because that's the last thing we want, is to back up traffic. So it'd have to be something we either, so a lot of the facilities have moved to cashless. There's
by
a
phone.
QR code. You just scan the code.
County just did that.
Yeah, and it's super easy and quick, and it's not very complex. But I would start it on for flag, it would be Friday nights, and for soccer, it would be Saturdays. Start there. You've got your practice days during the week, but let's just see how it works on Fridays and Saturdays.
I can look into it. I mean, I managed beach and street enforcement when I was at the
Yeah, I mean,
beach, so.
yeah. And the only
Schedule.
the caveat would be, if you, we'd have to also restrict parking outside, because
Have to have
and
somebody
if we make it
patrol and
affordable, let's say if
enforce.
it's $2, not a big deal. But if you park in the school, unless we have somebody set up over there, which we could, you could have actually 2 people. But you could
I can
park
see
over the school.
Go real quick, like saying,
Yeah, you could park it.
what's my
Yeah,
share?
yeah. Well, maybe. it's
Well,
split the revenue.
there is going to be an interlocal agreement coming in front of you with the school for the use of their parking lot, but then them using our soccer fields for play and emergencies and that kind of thing. So that's
Okay, so it's
forthcoming.
Well, if we instituted a program with a key fob or whatever, and you swipe your card, I wouldn't want it restricted just to flag or just to soccer. If you're coming to the complex and you're
Oh,
going to park,
anybody, Bob,
you pay your
Yeah.
$2, right?
Yeah, everybody.
anybody. At that point,
This
it'll
is
be
what
anybody that comes in.
Absolutely.
And I believe it's Zach that's there. I believe all we need will
This
be a
needs some
public
more
hearing.
consideration, but that's an option.
But,
What-
instead of spending time hashing through $2 for parking or whatever.
Right.
My thought was we were going to have this Parks and Rec plan and these options. And part of that plan would be, we have an opportunity, we have operating costs of X. We have a revenue opportunity of Y with options A, B, and C. How we would get to that is, here's our cost for our leagues. Here's our, additional rentals. Here's our parking fees. Here's our program and league management
So we-
fees. So it would be this comprehensive plan to get us to, because honestly, we don't really care where the revenue comes from, whether it's parking or extra league activity. We don't care. Our objective is to offset the operating costs
Operated at no cost.
and the capital improvements that are
Correct.
coming down the pike. So I don't really even care to talk about how the sausage is made, to be quite honest, unless it's tied to policy.
Let us skip down to the numbers, because Laura's put those together already. And this was the start of that conversation. So
Okay.
Laura's gone over the last 5 years and looked at our income to expenses, and I'll let her explain the numbers.
All right. It was a little tricky because we switched from Facilitron, or not Facilitron, to Facilitron. So, and not everything was coded very clearly in the GL. So some of the stuff I kind of took a stab at, but there were some things that were very clearly either dog park, pool, soccer, fun park, or just If it wasn't clear, or if it was a combination of one or more of those things, I put it under Parks and Rec. So, based on these numbers came from our financials, combination of financials and Facilitron just to validate, especially for the income. You can see that, we're making a little more on the dog park. So this much, about $38,000 over the last 5 years.
This is revenue?
Revenues, the first one is revenue. It's not, well, I wouldn't say revenue. It's
Oh, I see.
revenue.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then, the blue is what we spent.
Does this include capital?
It has some yes.
It does. So caveat that the numbers do include capital, some capital.
Some capital, yes.
So it's not strictly operating.
And then the stuff, so this would be our net down here, either income or loss. And
I don't understand how those numbers exactly the same. The
What do you mean?
Expenses and the net income are exactly the same.
That's because there was no income. Pool is 0, 0. So expenses and net loss. It's a loss. So there's no income, so all of the expenses are a loss.
Okay, so if I take, for example, soccer 2025, expenses 380, income was 156, that's how you got to 224.
Correct.
P and R is the total of all of them?
Nope, it was just Parks and Rec.
Other miscellaneous
There was-
Parks and Rec.
Anything that didn't fall under one of those categories. So dog park is
So
everything I
those have
could.
no income.
Correct.
Is that employee costs in P&L?
No, that does not include wages.
So you guys asked for pretty much by these facilities. I mean, for me, and Rod and I spoke about this earlier, we talked about at what percentage do we want to try to capture, right, and recover our costs. And if you're looking at these amenities, the fun park really doesn't have any revenue. The pool has minimal revenue compared to expenses. Believe it or not, your soccer complex and your dog park are at least making some money. I mean, it's not breaking even by any means, and I don't know that Parks and Rec will ever break even. Honestly, being at a 50% subsidy is, in my opinion, great. If you can get higher, that's ideal. We definitely know that we are not utilizing the fields to their fullest potential, especially during the days. A lot of the leagues are running at night. Carrie, we just talked about it this morning about tournaments, hosting tournaments here and blocking out those days. That's an opportunity. We're trying to reduce our shutdown over the summer. Starting talking about like doing a kickball league and managing that ourselves. Let's start small. But ultimately, most Parks and Rec facilities manage their programs and their leagues in-house.
So just to give you an idea what Chelsea was talking about as far as utilization, I pulled some reports from Facilitron. And assuming 365 days in the year that the facilities would be available from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then taking out June, July, and August where we're closed, we're at about 13.5% utilization of the fields.
But you won't ever get that. So when you say 8 to 10, you're really looking,
that's
if you're at 50%,
Yep, you asked me to look at hours
yeah.
available versus hours
Yeah.
used, so that's, I mean, realistic and actual,
yeah.
so
if
that's what
you're-
I did.
Yeah, if we're
so
looking at 15%, you're saying 13% is our
13.5.
current usage?
Usage, yeah.
I'm looking at the 2026 budget, which shows the adopted 2025 expenses. And it shows for Parks and Rec, 921,689. What combinations of numbers, I couldn't do it at home. How do you get 921,689 off this sheet here?
It should pretty much line up that whole bottom part, and then it also includes salaries,
Oh,
which
the-
are not,
the
but the
budget-
budget includes salaries, which are not included in this.
Say what?
The wages, employee costs are not included in these charts.
In your charts?
Correct, but they
Wow.
are in the budget.
It's cost. It's cost. Why isn't it included?
Because this was more actual cost per facility. I mean, we can put a number and say
All
it's,
costs in there. I'm paying for it.
but then
mean,
we'll
why
throw
do
it
we
into
need
Parks
it?
and Rec, because I don't know how much of the percentage of their time is spent at the Sherman Soccer Complex versus the pool.
Versus the dog park versus the fun park.
So we can lump that into Parks and Rec so you have full
I'm just
pictures.
I'm just saying, Chelsea, is that if I'm going to look at this, I want to look at all costs.
Understood.
any cost that our owners are paying for needs to be included in the analysis. And if I'm looking at this in the budget and it shows that the year in 2025 was supposed to be around 921, I can't add any rows across for fiscal year 25 cost and come up with 921.
So where you would get it would be from, you would not count the pool column. It would be dog park plus soccer plus fun park plus parks and rec plus wages.
Well, I could go to the budget and pull the pool out. That's in
Well,
there
it's on the
separately.
sheet. Yeah, it's on the sheet.
And then the
So-
number jumps up even higher, like to 1.3, 1.4 million. I just want to compare apples and apples. I don't want apples and oranges.
Well, Parks
But
and
we
Rec
need
is a
all
separate,
costs.
Parks and Rec is a separate budget from the pool. It's two different areas on
I
the
understand,
budget.
but when we're doing the analysis though, of the soccer, that's the one that the requirement was, or the action was, the intent was to try to get 50%, preferably 75% revenue outside.
Compared to what our
like Doug
costs are.
said, from whatever sources. So what that says is that if we take and get 50 and 50% comes off 1.6 million, that means we're 800,000 still high. Where's it coming from?
Yep. And then that is the second part of the conversation of the opportunities for rental, for parking, for leagues, for running it ourselves. For the concession stand, that ITQ is going out if it's not already out. Again, additional potential revenue sources.
Okay, Laura, if I'm looking at the $380,597 for fiscal year 25 soccer expenses, okay, is that comparable to what 26 is going to be?
It depends on what we do. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of variables. We had some irrigation
We've
issues,
adopted the budget. What does
Right.
the budget tell
but
us?
those are actuals. So I
I
don't,
understand, but what does the budget tell us?
I would have to look. I didn't calculate that out.
Is it close to that number?
I
or
didn't,
no?
I'd have to look. I didn't include that.
And what year did Facilitron take over?
In May of 2023,
It's 400,000 higher total.
That has
It was
capital.
921.
but that has capital costs in it
Yeah, and capital
and
reserves.
bond stuff. So that's not, I didn't include the bond stuff.
So fiscal year 21 and 22 was pre-Facilitron,
Correct.
under 200,000. And since then, now it's in the 300s.
Yeah, I just think the thing we need to do is see these numbers to where we keep them this, because we got to get that soccer somehow, both capital and operating, off to the side. Because that's one that we've already said, this is the amount of money we want to draw. We can still then look at the other three amenities, regular Parks and Rec, the pool and the dog park, and then make decisions of what we want to do on those as far as generating.
Yeah, well, not knowing
fees.
any more than looking at these numbers, it makes me question, why did we go to Facilitron? Is that in any way incorporated in why the cost jumped up so much? Because I thought we netted out free with that.
So the people renting pay our cost of using Facilitron. It's like a 10% fee for use.
So
So
we don't lose anything.
we don't pay anything to utilize Facilitron. That's paid for by the end
And
user.
why is our cost up so much?
Because our rates increased. For our revenue rates increased. You guys set a 3-year plan 3 years ago. Each year we were increasing the hourly rate of the fields and the lights. And so our revenue has increased because our rates have increased.
Well, I'm only looking at the
Part of
expense portion of this. I'm just looking at the expense blocks. It went from 182 to 380.
Laura mentioned too, that this also includes capital in some of these line items.
We had a big irrigation.
Okay, we never
issue
had that
last
one
year.
pre-Facilitron. I'm just,
Yeah, we need to see.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand the
Okay,
numbers.
I see
You're
what
talking,
Want the
you're trying,
detail.
you're trying to understand the increase from
Expense,
From-
where did that come from?
2021.
Pre-Facilitron to post-Facilitron.
Yeah, well, Facilitron, I don't think makes it any difference.
Facilitron costs us zero.
Well, that's what I kept thinking.
Yeah,
But yet
Facilitron
somehow
doesn't
our
cost
costs have
anything.
Skyrocketed, I'm
The
just trying to
cost of the
understand.
minute costs, expenses to those facilities. So we went in 2021, we had $182,000 worth of expenses for the Sherman Soccer Complex.
Landscaping, mowing the field, striping the
Okay.
field, sod
Okay.
replacement, electricity, irrigation,
So I'll just call that a good baseline.
all of those kind of things.
We have a couple of other items we got to get to before.
All right, well, the
time
next
is
year it's
up.
193, but now all of a sudden we're at 380. I mean, that's not a little bump up, that's a hell of an increase.
That's, what is that, sod replacement, irrigation?
Yeah, we've had a substantial amount
light-
of sod replaced, like $80,000
Light
worth of
maintenance.
sod each year.
Lights, yeah.
obviously those expenses aren't going to go down. So what is it, if we hold, and obviously we did not even make the goal of 50% in any of these years. So if we're going to hold to that at least 50%, what do we have to charge?
That's, well,
Well, we're close. In soccer, our expense in 2025 is 156.
This doesn't
Total
have-
cost is 380.
But if this doesn't have labor, those numbers are meaningless.
I think that's right.
They're meaningless. The number's well over
We
$400,000.
don't have dedicated people to, what I think what we're trying to say is we don't have dedicated people to the soccer field. It's their parks and rec and they float.
yes.
So you have to basically
But there's a portion.
amortize it. across-
There's a
Yeah, yeah,
portion.
yeah, yeah. And I get what you're saying.
Okay.
We could get back to my timesheet thing. Where was I on that
Let's
day?
go on because we're running short. Replacement lights at Sherman Complex, my deal is on that is until we get somebody that's coming through and going to produce this 50% that we're looking for.
So with-
Don't even want to talk about that.
with-
We can use the existing lights.
With that, we agree. We can milk it. We just did a major upgrade, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and converting them over to LED. I think that is something that we can milk. If you ever contemplate doing a major change in construction of the fields, we can talk then with new wiring, because we all know the wiring is pretty antiquated everywhere in Gateway, but we can milk the lights that we have now.
Move dog park to commons. Again, that's one as far as I'm concerned. We got a plan for it. Yes, I think it's phase 3. Let's wait.
Way down the road.
Wait till we get down the road on that.
So let me just say with that, if you proceed with doing the Sherman Soccer parking lot expansion, albeit paved or unpaved, that is where the dog park is.
Can't happen until we move to dog park.
So that's my question to the board is, are you requiring the dog park to be moved prior to that work happening? And going back to the numbers, we're talking, we have maybe 100 dog park users in a year, 100 dog park passes for the expenses of maintaining the dog park.
So there's 2 options there. Well, there's 3. We do nothing. 1, we put the parking lot in and table the move to when, at whatever time. So it doesn't have to be in sequence, or we sequence the move with the building of the parking lot, if we so choose to go that way. So it doesn't have to be done, or we could just eliminate it altogether. So there's actually 4 options.
Georgia said there, as of November 3rd, there's 118 dog park passes. And I don't know if that means that some people have 2, so I don't know if there's 118 unique or if it's just 118 total.
Or the other one is to do something as an amendment to the park, and instead of building the full phase 3 improvement that was in the plan, build something less to accommodate the
Pull ahead.
interim.
Pull ahead.
Do what?
Pull it ahead of phase 3.
Yeah.
Put it in
Yes.
sooner. Right?
Yeah.
And have that be the sole thing as part of that phase. That's absolutely.
Do we
an option.
need a dog park?
There's a lot of communities that are
118
moving
people
there.
think so.
Well,
118 people out of,
Well,
what,
but they're willing to
8,000?
pay. I mean,
Well, we looked at Stony Brook, we've looked into this, and I'm not on the committee that was looking into it, but I know the board did as well. They did extensive research around putting a dog park, and a lot of HOAs and communities are removing their dog parks because the risk and liability has just gotten so high, and compared to the amount of usage that they're actually seeing. So a lot of communities are pulling their dog parks out. So just-
so where are the dogs pooping?
Well, I mean, you're not taking your
Where
dog
they-
to the
where they
dog
live.
park necessarily just to poop.
Just
Well,
put
but-
it in.
That's what they're going to do when they're there.
Laura, what was the number you had on the dog park for 25, our
It's a
total
social
expenses?
thing, right?
Oh, yeah,
Dog
it's more
park.
Going back to
social.
that
Yeah.
sheet. So dog park is,
So let me caveat this. The way that we redid the landscaping agreement for 2025, it no longer breaks out the dog park and the fun park. Those are all included under Parks and Rec for the maintenance.
even if they two
so-
were together, you're talking $9,000-10,000.
Can you just tell me, like, ballpark, what's do you have the average from 2021 to 2025, what the expense of the dog park was on average?
Well, take that
5 into
67,000 divided by
My
5,
thing is
so
to delay it
13,
until we can
12.
get more
If you
information.
take 67,000 divided by 5, I mean, it's a little over 12,000,
12,000.
13,000.
But again, with the labor not being in there, whatever labor might be, it's,
And then relative to the turf options, We got to talk to these guys, find out if they're going to pick up the tab for 50% of this
If you
cost.
have 160
If they aren't going to pick it
people,
up, my deal is
$100 a piece.
we don't do it. Just don't do it.
Cover the cost
They
of
play
that.
with what they got, and if they don't like it, go someplace else. You saw that the
No,
park,
no, it
and then this is another one that
And if it becomes
blows my
self-funded, which is
mind.
the intent.
The county is buying more
The
land
dog park's the
for
cheapest thing
parks.
we're talking about.
And yet they were telling us they don't want to do anything. They just passed it the other day at their meeting. So I'm wondering if it's an opportunity to go back to the county and say, you want to reconsider purchasing our soccer fields? If you're going out and buying new ones,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Totally support that.
see what they say. Because something certainly changed because they even got the commissioners to approve the money for it. So the land they're going to have to pay or.
Got to be a whole
buy-
lot cheaper to take this
It's
off our hands.
exactly right, to buy.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, I think it is too. So I would suggest staff make a phone call, see what they say. Let them, see if they say no again. If they say no, that they don't want it, then why in the hell
And
are you
why?
going out and buying money or
So-
spending money on stuff that's going to cost
What-
double or triple?
What I would encourage this board to, if you're giving that direction, that it needs to be board to board and not management to management because of the response that I received last time from management. So if this board is
I'll give
interested,
Cecil a call. That doesn't bother me. I'm just
saying-
was shocked is that they
And-
all of a sudden are putting money out to do exactly what they told us they weren't going to do.
what I'm suggesting is if the board was recommending to do that, I would be happy to draft a letter on behalf of the board and send it to their Board of County Commissioners from this board.
Do we need a motion for you?
Yes, but in the regular meeting because it's
Right,
a
I
workshop.
know it's not now,
But
but
yes, yes.
We'll make a motion to do that. Okay.
Anything else in the deal that you want to go over? The financing of all of this is that, is there any peculiarities on the financing in light of our new, what do you call it, assessment methodology?
So if you chose, so my understanding, and Zach, you can chime in, I talked to Tony about this in length. The bond validation was taken in front of a judge, and that was based on the old assessment methodology. So if you take out another bond series, it's based on the old assessment methodology, unless you choose to go through and go to the judge and hold public hearings and change the assessment methodology of how the original bond validation was done,
Or go 5 years or less?
or 5 years or less. If you chose to do 5 years or less, we could go do a bank loan, and it would be under the new assessment methodology because it is new debt.
Well, that certainly eliminates the expenses of the, what I
Of the
would call
methodology.
the soft costs associated with the methodology. Yeah.
Well, there are still soft costs with going with the bank. It's just far less
Understand.
Not a bond.
than a bond series.
But there's more going the other route because we have to get the approval.
Exactly. But ultimately, there are options for funding sources if any, projects that you'd like to fund. And I know some of the discussions have been in the past that are, what other areas of opportunity are there to provide instead of just soccer fields? Carrie was doing a bunch of research on like a baseball diamond, if we were to convert one, like the last field into a baseball diamond. Again, these are all conversations that between staff and then the PrAC committee, we're doing research, they're doing their due diligence, they will make their recommendations to you as they discuss them. So,
We had asked for it one time, a month or so ago, to see an analysis of what the dollars are going to be for basically soccer only of all costs, capital and operating, to be able to know what are we going to these vendors, which would be the soccer leagues, the football, flag football, all of them, anybody that uses it, to see what kind of a dollar number, what are we trying to come up with? Like Carol said, we know it's not 380. It's a lot more than 380. So what is the number of which 50% is what we're asking for? I think that's the question.
yep, so we've got to go tweak and add in the staffing to this, and then we'll look at the current, to Carol's point, we'll look at current year's numbers and see what do we got to hit in order to, how many hours do we have to rent, or how many light hours do we have to rent to get the 50% number. So we're still crunching that.
Anybody else have anything else? Flavie, do you have anything?
So you'll have that for us at the next workshop?
Yep,
Are you still on?
she is, yes.
Bobby, do you have anything else?
Laura, can you also, on a monthly basis, can you just give us a trend of revenue generated per month over a 12-month period
Or
for the soccer field?
just soccer?
Yeah.
Okay. You want it, like, do you want me just to use the 21 through 25 for a baseline and then, or you want it just now going
No, you
forward?
can, it doesn't have to be every year. You can just do 24, 25.
And then I think
Because
the one,
the previous costs are irrelevant.
and the one you do, the analysis you do relative to capital puts in all of those different capital items we talked about, the parking, the lights, the sod, all of the capital items, make sure that they see what those are over and beyond the operating. Okay. Everything else?
You're looking for detail.
I'm sorry.
You're looking for detail.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anybody else have anything? Doug? Carol?
Are we even going to discuss the financing options on page 2? Is there any need to yet?
I think until you decide what, if any, projects that you want to proceed with, I think that's a little premature.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, at least on the soccer related stuff, until we get some idea what these guys are going to come back and say and what our opportunities are. 50% is a big wad to swallow,
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Probably a hill we can't get over.
Again, if I was doing this, I would at under current state, what our total operating expenses are, what we would need to do to break 100% even, 70, 50, 30, and then look at the options for that, whether it's in-house. How do we do it? So if we were to go outside, let's say if we bid the fields out, like we kind of did that a couple of years ago. There was an entity that wanted to outright lease the fields for multi-year at X amount per year. Because the improvements could be dependent. It's just like if you had a commercial building and you wanted someone to come in, they're either going to say, I will lease it as is, or I will lease it, but you've got to
Upgrade, whatever.
You've got to put in partitions and you got to do all that stuff. So us even agreeing on lights or whatever, we only have to have that conversation if we continue, either we manage in-house or we run the status quo as we do today, which is we lease from an individual league perspective. Because nothing's requiring us to do anything right now. The only time that I think we would be required to do something is if we were going to, at 100%, lease the fields out, or if we were to hand over to the county, just like they do on the roads. Well, we'll take it over, but you got to improve the lights. So those things. So us talking about projects, really, that is tabled until we determine whether we're going to continue managing in-house, whether we we take over the leagues, manage them in-house, or we continue to sub them, versus actually bidding them out for total management or more like a holistic lease, and someone else is going to control all the fields.
And all the capital expenses.
The issue is if you take all that capital of what we were talking about, which would be the parking, the lights, and the sod, you're looking at a little bit over $3 million bucks. You did finance that's 300,000 plus interest every year.
Yeah.
That is a change to add to 300 to 400,000 of operating costs.
Well, I will
Of which
say-
you take 50% is one hell of a number. If somebody comes in and says they'll do that, and you've got a 10-year loan, you've got to have a 10-year deal with them. And I think you're dreaming. It's not going to happen. They're not
Love it
going to
to
give
happen,
you that
but it
deal,
ain't gonna happen.
which gets us in a position of you're not going to get to that position. But we got to start from that's what we're attempting to do. Then we make the decision, are we going to do it? Or we just basically say, if you like that grass now, you'll like it in 5 years from now.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think we truly realize the value of the asset that we're sitting on. I mean, I know clubs that are looking to buy facilities and to build them out, and their bottom line funding starts around 2.5, 3 million.
Are they debt financing it themselves, or are they
They're-
borrowing money to pay off the debt?
There's a couple different funding options.
That's what I
there,
figured
but-
some of them might do.
But I mean, just to net build something out, one, define property is challenging right now, at least in a desirable area. Two, to build it out. I mean, so that's why I think we're,
Well, should we entertain getting proposals from somebody that may want to
Well,
buy
I think
it?
that's what, we
Well, what
gotta
I'm
have
saying is,
numbers
like,
before we do that.
what I'm
That's the
saying
problem.
is, it's, handing it over to Lee County is giving them an asset,
Well,
that's gonna-
when I say
but-
handing,
but-
I
No, no,
I
let
didn't
me
put
finish,
dollars
let me
into it, but.
And I'm not saying necessarily selling, but we could be leasing these fields at, there could be a possibility.
You come up with a lease that equals 50% of it, I don't care what you call it.
Well,
that's
at
right.
that point, it wouldn't be 50%. At that point, we're not leasing at 50%. We're leasing at 100%. As a matter of fact, I'd try to do it 110,
If you
120%.
could do that, that'd be
So we're
fantastic.
generating positive revenue flow.
So
We can do that.
we did
Sounds good to me.
research, last thing, because I know the normal session starts, but we did reach out, not Lee County, Collier County did that at one of their facilities. And we called them to get their input on it. I got actually the actual bid documents that they put out, so we have those. From what we were told was, it worked great in the beginning, but then the fields, it wasn't held to their standard.
Yeah.
They ended up canceling the agreement and basically taking everything back in-house and doing and managing it themselves.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
after-
and that's where in the country you have to have
Okay, we're,
stipulations around that.
after our-
But yeah, that is, will most likely happen, is the property will be deteriorated over time.
After our 3 o'clock, we've got a lot of stuff you guys are going to report back to us on.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break and resume at 3:10 and hold the regular meeting.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm ready.
It's 3:11. Let's call the meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order and have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we still have Flavia, we need a motion to have her in for this meeting also? Make a motion for allowing Flavia to fully participate in the meeting remotely due to exceptional circumstances.
I so move.
Second.
Fake me out. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Flavia, you on
Thank
board?
you, guys. I'm
Yeah,
on
she's
board. I
still
can
there.
hear loud and clear.
Roll call, let the record show that Bob, Doug, Carol, and Ed are here and Flavia is remote. Approval of final agenda. Anybody have any changes to the agenda? Lori or Chelsea?
So moved.
Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Public comment. We have anybody?
Yep.
Looks like an agenda and a non-agenda. They're both non-agenda. All right. First up, Marty Mantonfeld regarding Parks and Rec spending. Just a reminder, you get 3 minutes. I won't start till after you announce yourself. Just announce your name for the record.
Marty Nantenfeld, Brino Drive, Pelican Preserve. So now that I'm paying for Parks and Recreation, you sure do know how to spend a lot of money. But things that I see that are missing on there, they talk about building pickleball courts. They talk about building an amphitheater. This is what I don't see. I don't see things for the kids, okay? I don't see a skate park that you're thinking of, a BMX park. Are you running swimming lessons for the kids during the summer? What I do see is Parks and Recs closes the fields when the kids are out of school. How ridiculous is that? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks for the Parks and Recreational Committees to consider.
Marty, you'll be pleased to know that we have a swim lesson on person on board, and they're going to be starting very soon. Ask and you shall receive. Look at that, customer service.
All right, then we have Rod Senior. Also non-agenda, a mystery non-agenda item. 3 minutes.
Good afternoon all, Rod Senior, Gateway Greens. Just going back a few weeks to the budget time, I remember clearly we were struggling to get below double figures and we thought that 9% was acceptable. I never thought it was. A big chunk of the 9% is Parks and Rec, and I'm glad you're focusing on it. And what I want to talk about is cost benefit. What is the metric benchmark here for each of these facilities that we're talking about? Carol, you asked a great question a minute ago. Do we need a dog park? Sounds simple, but it's a good question. 118 people out of 6,000 is 2%. Like, is 2% the figure that justifies building and continuing to maintain a dog park and the parking and everything else? What is the number that, as a rule of thumb, that this board would accept as a reasonable percentage? I say that 2% is far too low. Then let's look at the pool. We've got 200 passes that were issued roughly in the last 12 months on 6,000 people. That's 3% of our community are using the pool. And at $330,000 loss, based upon your numbers, you'd have to charge $1,650 per pass to break even. So is 3% an acceptable number to justify continuing this pool? I say it's too low. Soccer. Well, with soccer, we've got 800 kids. 60% of them don't live in Gateway. 40% do. That's 300 kids live in Gateway. 300 homes out of 6,000 is 5%. Is 5% worth keeping our soccer facility alive?
You have to multiply that by 2, though. 2 seasons per year.
No. 2 seasons. The seasonal cost is $175 for GSA. That's $350 a year. 800 kids. GSA's gross revenue is 800 times 350, which is $280,000. So we are losing $225,000. GSA is making roughly that. I don't deny them the profit, but not on the backs of the Gateway taxpayer. Options, we can either shut the soccer complex down, or we can scale it back to 2002 level of 2 fields for the Gateway kids only, or we can take the whole thing in-house, which is not a bad idea if we take into account the people costs of doing so, or we set up a joint venture where everything, all the cards are transparent, face up, we all sharing the costs and the revenues with the users, rather than us being transparent and them being opaque.
5 seconds.
Okay, Doug, one last point. You mentioned you didn't like the idea of a fence. I remind you of the dog park. We couldn't, the fun park, I'm sorry. We couldn't even manage the fun park. So heaven knows what it would be like at Gateway Commons if we didn't have any, if it wasn't fenced in. I just can't see how we can do without one. Thank you.
I have no more public comment.
No other ones?
Nope.
Okay. Local achievements and recognitions? None. Advisory committee items and reports? We have the PPAC member appointment, Ed Hodges.
Ed Hedges, he is currently on PPAC as their vice chair. His 2-year term is coming up. He has applied and requested to remain on PPAC. And at their meeting last month, PPAC did vote to recommend to keep him on
Retain.
PPAC, to retain
So we
him,
need a
yes.
motion to
Approve, yes.
approve him.
And
Okay.
I so move.
And he's here.
Motion made by Bob,
Second.
seconded by Carol. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. We have the minutes of the August 14th PPAC meeting and October 2nd workshop meeting minutes.
Move to approve agenda items 8A and B.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Consent agenda item, resolution 2026-2025 budget amendment. I read that, and is basically all this is cleaning up town lakes and Stony Brook
And Pelican.
And
So-
Pelican.
and Pelican.
Pelicans is that 900,000 was for the paying off the bond. It was just a big move.
So
So
how does that impact that we just got handed at the last meeting? Does it basically replace this whole thing?
No, this is 25.
This is to clean up, to
Oh,
close
it's clean-
out.
Oh, okay,
clean
I
up and
thought that
close
was
out
20, okay.
25.
No, it's for 25.
25.
We
okay.
can't have negative funds, and so that's why the funds have to transfer between reserves and into operating, et cetera,
To zero out.
to zero out.
They can
So
have a surplus, but they can't have a deficit.
Move to approve agenda item 9A.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 And that's approving resolution 2026-05,
Yes.
okay? And then we need to sign that after the meeting?
Yep,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you. Moving right along. District engineer, is Stephen on?
Nope.
Nope, not this meeting,
Don't
next
have
meeting.
him. Administrative agenda items,
Nothing.
none? District manager items,
The only thing that I have, well, 2 things. Winterfest is the first Saturday in December, December 6th. I believe it's from 4 to 8 p.m. We started to put Facebook ads out. We're seeking sponsorships and donations for that
Is that our
event.
tree lighting? Is that historically what we call the?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's your tree lighting. Put it on your calendars, please. We'd love to have you. We do have some volunteer opportunities if you'd like to help either with raffle tickets or with welcoming folks or, showing where different games or arts and craft tables and things like that. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing,
Where are we going to do that this year?
So it's at the
It's
soccer
always here at the
complex.
Soccer complex.
Okay.
We'll have food trucks, all that fun, games,
We're gonna
Grinch,
have
Santa.
food trucks like usual?
Yep.
Okay. Santa,
Yep,
okay.
and the Grinch. So Carrie's working on all of the logistics of that, but it's always the first Saturday in December, so mark your calendars. I can even send out a meeting invite if you'd like. Tuesday is a holiday for us. It's Veterans Day, just so you know, our offices will be closed. I'm actually flying out tonight, but as always, if you guys need me, you can always call my personal cell phone. I'll be checking emails. and I'll fly back on Tuesday.
If the government's closed, why do we have a holiday?
Fair point. We'll observe it though on their behalf.
You're flying out of here?
I know, good luck, right? Thanks.
The
Might
question,
not,
here.
might not come
how are
back.
you getting
I
back?
might not come back. No, I'm just kidding. But
Okay.
again, if you need anything, you guys know that you can call me or email me. I'm just going to North Carolina. We have a couple weddings that we're attending, so not mine, but others. That's all I've got.
I love how you say not yours.
What, Flavia
She
say?
likes how I said not mine.
Okay. Zach, you got anything on behalf of Tony?
On behalf of Tony, I thank you for letting me hang out with you this afternoon, and I have no substantive updates for you unless you had questions.
We're, have Tony send you more often if these are how long our meetings are going.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, I'm pleasantly surprised, happy to be here.
I think this is the shortest agenda I've seen in the 5 years I've been here, so.
Well, let's not derail it.
Okay. Future
I
board
do,
business. What'd you say, Flavia?
I'll wait.
Agenda management, again, the next couple meetings are going to be extremely light, just with holidays and then agenda items. But I do need to bring the furniture for the admin building. We've been going back and forth with two vendors. I need to bring that to you before the end of the calendar year because the rates go up. But other than that, it's a very light agenda over the next 2 months, really. We've got bids that are out on the street or going out on the street. So a lot of these will come to you after the first of the year.
So if we did decide to cancel December 18th as well as January 1st, what does that do to this management calendar?
Nothing.
Is there
Nothing.
any, I mean, like your furniture, can we move that up?
Yeah.
Make
It's,
sure it gets done in
Yes, ma'am.
December, first meeting in December?
my goal is to bring it to you at your next meeting. But yes, if you canceled that, that's fine.
One of the areas that I think we're most interested in is the boardroom design, the layout. I mean, for me, the tech structure, how close are we to, because you're talking about furniture, are you just talking about furniture vendor or?
Furniture vendor.
Need walls to the roof first.
Yeah.
Well, we know- But we know what the dimensions of the room are. I'm just curious
This
about
is-
layout and.
Desks, chairs, tables, that's it. And you guys budgeted for all the furniture 2 years ago, so that money is already accounted for. We had $100,000 for it.
Okay, then I will move to cancel the December 18th meeting.
And
I will
we're
not be here.
weak on budget or agenda items. We can always call it back if we have to, correct?
I mean, it's been.
If we don't need it, we don't need it.
Yeah.
There, second Carol's motion.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 And we already canceled January 1st,
Yes, ma'am.
so that means that there'll be
A month.
a month there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. But you can work with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anything
We've
else?
intentionally tried to keep it quiet towards that part of the year in anticipation of that potentially
Of
happening.
Travels. and things like that.
Vacation and holidays and all that.
So anything else for agenda management for us?
Well, yeah, not a question really. You've got a couple of workshops planned, one for, aeration and one for pond standards, et cetera. Are they all going to happen on 1/15 or are they workshops going to be sooner than that? Are these workshops hours?
The workshops are ours, or are yours. The 115, what's the other?
Who is Parks and Rec
I'm-
again?
Depending on where the Pelican Pond Subcommittee is with their review of the proposed pond standard update, I'll wait to see where that's at. If that needs to delay, then we'll have the aeration discussion. But
Okay, because I'm personally interested in the aeration discussion. I saw we only had 500,000 in that prior proposed spending. Yeah, that won't buy you some extension cords when it comes to aeration. It's nowhere near enough money. All right.
Anything else?
No.
Supervisor comments. Bob? anything?
I'd like to entertain the thought of the board being paid for the participation in the president's meetings when we did that 2 weeks ago.
You did.
I'm sorry?
You did get paid for that.
Oh, I did? Okay.
Yep, you'll see it tomorrow.
I Didn't know that. Okay,
Yep.
I thought we only got paid for these, so.
Nope, you got paid for the one in February, the one in, or the one in,
You can see I watch it closely.
end of January, the one at the end of April, and then the one that you had last week will be on, you'll get that tomorrow.
Thank you.
So Laura, just to jump on Bob's thing, we do have two that work, either was a workshop that we didn't get paid, right?
I have two things when I went through to look for opportunities, since some of you may fall a little short, especially with canceling the 18th meeting. There was a groundbreaking ceremony for the admin building back in January that you were not paid for, as well as a continuation of the June 5th board meeting, which was continued to the 12th, that you were not paid for. So that's two meetings that you were not
I'll make a
paid
motion
for
that
that
we
you could get.
get paid for it.
And then
I'll
there's,
second your
I'm getting in a
motion.
position that I haven't missed any, so.
You haven't, yeah.
and then just, I know you made the
So,
motion.
so we have a
Flavia,
motion and a second. I second that motion.
If I could just chime in.
Sure.
Considering you just canceled the 18th meeting, there could be additional opportunities for you to maximize your costs. And so do you want us to maximize those with workshops or any other meetings that we found?
Like the one we did with the woman that came in and went over goals
That
and
was the-
That
responsibilities.
was last year.
Yeah.
That was,
Didn't we do that again this year? Oh my God, I really
Board
love it.
workshop.
So the question is do we want to have them go ahead
Let
and
them maximize
maximize?
it, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I think you got that. Go ahead.
So, okay. Did you want to amend your?
I thought I amended the motion to just maximize it.
Is there a second?
I'll second again the
All-
motion.
What'd you say,
Flavia
Flavia?
seconded it.
Okay.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Doug, anything?
No.
Carol?
Yeah, I would like to go ahead and make a motion that we ask Chelsea to write a letter on behalf of the board to Lee County Commissioners, board to board, and ask if there's, based on, it appears that there's a new change of philosophy on their part, and would they entertain working with us on the soccer complex?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not gonna hurt. They'll probably come, they might come back and say no, but it seems to me like the left hand and right hand down there aren't talking.
So,
Because they were definitive that they didn't want anything and they weren't going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, they not only did something, the commissioners approved it. So something changed.
who would you like me to work with to review the letter before I send it on behalf of the board? Or do you want me to have it for your 20th meeting for your review?
We can have it for the 20th meeting.
Okay.
I'm fine with
I'm gonna
Carol
call
reviewing.
Cecil right off the bat anyway to find out what's going on.
Why don't you just-
Why the two standards? What'd you say, Flavia?
Well, since Carol made the motion, I'm totally fine with Carol working with Chelsea on the letter on behalf of us and sending that out. I personally do not need to stamp the letter, I think we're all looking at the same direction. I'm okay with Carol working with Chelsea and getting that letter out.
What is she saying? You work with you to?
I'll draft it. Carol can approve it before I send it.
Okay.
You guys good with that?
Yep.
Okay,
Fine.
I'll give it to you
Anything
next
else?
week.
No.
Okay.
And excuse me, I did
Well,
have one.
think you have to call.
Yeah. Have we gotten any feelers on those two parcels that Pelican may or may
I
not
think we
be?
need to take the vote. on
Oh,
the
I thought we
motion.
did.
All in favor of having Chelsea and Carol work together on this?
Oh, I thought we already said, yeah, yes.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the two parcels at Tree Line and Colonial, any bites yet on that?
I saw, and I showed it to Ed the other day. I saw the ad. I wasn't happy with the aerial picture, so I asked them to go take a drone and go take a nice picture. I'm waiting for that picture to be updated and then it goes out.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I would say by tomorrow.
I had a couple items. One, we all, I think, received a copy of a document. I don't know if it was requested or if it was just submitted into the district of somebody wanting to purchase our water and wastewater utility. Did you all read that?
I never saw that.
It's in your district email, Bob.
I'll never see it then.
The issue is that that's got so many ramifications, it's not funny. First of all, we've got and built up a group of employees that I'm sure would be endangered by that move. Second of all, is if you want to raise rates, hire somebody that works for profit. Because then you're going to add another 15 to 20% to our rates and charges to be able to make money. Or they're going to come in and start cutting services to save money, one or the other. Long story short, when I read it, I thought, no, the utilities that I saw that they represent, which is about 50 or 60 of them that are on the list, they're all small, what I call mom and pop water and wastewater facilities that probably shouldn't be in the business to begin with. We were the only one that I could see, just by knowing the area, that were of our magnitude.
Would that mitigate the need for new meters?
What?
Would
No,
that
no, no.
Mitigate the need for,
We've
okay.
already taken that.
All they would do is just basically come in and take over the utility and
The bookkeeping,
run the
you know.
water and wastewater services.
And just so you know, that was honestly, I took it as a compliment that they wanted to buy us, that we must be doing something right. But the second thing is Tony did send me a statute that we would have to follow in the event that the board would entertain this. There are a laundry list of things lined out, but it's for your
I would assume we'd have
consideration.
to bid it, put it out for bids.
Is there additional due diligence that we should be doing as opposed to just saying we're not interested?
I don't believe so.
Well, we might check on it, but I wanted to bring it up and see if everybody had read it, but I was, did this just come out of the clear blue?
Yes.
We didn't invite or anything. Okay. The next one probably are for our staff, but I want to make sure that we get it squared away.
Small utility.
In the bigger world, yes, we are a smaller utility.
Some issues with the club at Gateway. This last week, and I don't know what precipitated it, but we're getting people coming to our gate demanding to get in to use the country club's pool and the pool facilities. And they say, well, we just got our pass from over at the CDD office. They're not aware, and I talked to you about it. We just need to make sure that when we're passing out those passes, they understand that the pool they get to go to is the Commons pool. They don't, in fact, they even thought that they were automatically let in, since they're in Gateway, that they get into Gateway Greens. So.
What's wrong with it?
Oh, that was me. I told them to do that.
I've been
I know
telling
people
people.
tried it, but we caught you.
So one thing, Ed, as a response to that, and staff brought this up, is we're going to identify our pass cards to say that they are a GSCDD or Gateway, not
Yeah.
that way, that help it'll
Put our
identify.
broccoli emblem on it.
Yes,
Some of these
exactly.
people didn't even understand that there is, Gateway is Gateway. They thought they could go anywhere. Next one.
All one gateway.
Did you get a?
You can let them
letter-
into Pelican then too?
Sure, it's all one gateway.
Did staff get a letter, or the district get a letter from the club at Gateway on the pond cleaning?
No, what do you mean?
Well, owners that live across from the pond have been told
The
they
request,
can't
the
ask, they gotta
request
have the
for
club
the-
do it.
No.
The club is supposed to be drafting a letter. It
No,
hadn't come in yet.
No, it has not.
The other one is.
Wait a minute. Back that up a little bit. Say that again.
People that live along the ponds that are on the golf course, that live
Okay.
across from the golf course.
Okay.
And the littorals and the other debris that's in the pond, way out in the pond, they can't ask for it to be removed. Staff wants the club to ask for it to be removed. So the club is drafting a letter going through all 15 or 16 of its ponds that have issues of stuff that's needs to be dimmed out or taken out that's in the pond. So
But-
the club was supposed to be drafting the letter. I thought they had it done.
But don't we already have the requirement of the pond provider to prevent that from ever occurring?
They're not even close to being in compliance. The-
Okay, so that
the
means we're
ponds
not
that are at the club
monitoring.
are not close to compliance with our standards.
This is what we discussed a couple meetings ago, where there's gray area with interpretation, and I understand it was explained what the intent was of the pond policy. That's why the pond standards are coming back.
Okay.
But anyone requesting the removal of littorals beyond, we maintain the standard, what our pond standard says, the 8-foot bandwidth, 8 to 12-foot bandwidth. Anything, if a property owner wants it sprayed out or, removed, they have to make that request. And so that has been told to the club, and the club is identifying those and is making that request.
So it's not a property owner per se, it would be from the club's point of view.
The next one is that if you played the golf course, we now have 3 holes that are essentially not visible from the fairway to the greens. The wetlands on wetlands 47, 48, and 46, I believe, they're over my head. That's how high the stuff out there is. It's so thick. I see guys going in there and they're crazier than hell. They're gonna come out with a snake on their leg if they don't watch out. But those need to be trimmed bad. What's our deal? Where's our vendor in there we've never, since, God, 16 years ago, we've never had a burn in there, a burn of the wetlands. And usually these are trimmed by this time of the year, but nobody's touched it. And they're horrible.
When you're saying wetland, you're not saying
have
conservation
questions.
area. right?
Same thing,
Oh, no,
same thing.
big difference. It's conservation area, you don't touch it.
These are, well, conservation areas, we have trimming and we have
You don't have
burns that we
trimming
have
in
done.
conservation areas. You don't do a thing in a
So
conservation area.
I have a question.
Is the ones I'm talking about is a wetland. It's wetland 47 and wetland 48 and wetland 46, I believe. But we have trimmed them almost every year.
No.
This year, they have never
No.
been trimmed, and somebody needs to get in, the club can't do it. We've learned the hard way about that. But our vendor needs to be getting that done.
I will look into it. I don't have enough knowledge and I don't
Hi.
want to misspeak. So
I can give you some clarity on this. Bob is right. If it is a wetland, there should be no trimming, zero.
Conservation area,
The o-
conservation.
Regardless if it's a conservation or a wetland, zero trimming. The only thing that the district does, which is within the district contract, is the vendor must remove all exotics, which means they
Non-invasive.
cut
All the non-invasives,
non-invasive and
Okay, I can
invasive
understand that.
species. So that's why I just want to clarify. So they don't go in and trim it. It looks like they're removing the exotics. They're not even taking it from that location. They'll cut it down, they'll treat it, and they'll leave it there.
Leave it
So
right where it
if
lays.
that's,
I know
yeah,
for the
so if
last
that's not
17
being
years,
done,
They have trimmed. Now,
Yeah,
they may be
so-
trimming invasives.
Well, if they
but-
did, it could have been,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Just
yeah,
anyway,
and then I
get
have
caught.
another,
it's
I
bad,
have
and
another question
everybody's
for
asked
Ed.
me, bring it up at the CDD meeting to take a look at it, because it's
Get them
out of hand.
pitching wedges.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Get them
so
pitching
Ed, I have,
wedges.
It's not
They-
that even
they gotta
pitching
go
wedges to get
over it.
over them, they can't see it. That's the problem.
Ed, I think
Hey, Ed,
Flavia wanted to
I have
finish
a
her
question for
comments.
Ed. Yeah, no, I just had clarification. So Ed, regarding the golf course wanting to take care of the littorals, are we talking about the width of the bend that's not being maintained? Because that's part of the contract. That should be taken care of it. Or are
Meaning
they
8 foot to
asking
12
for?
foot, Ed.
Yeah,
So what?
or are they asking
to
for
12 foot.
full
8 to
removal?
12 foot's not the issue. These are 30 and feet and more.
Okay,
Then
so-
the-
Out
so
into the
then-
pond.
so
Then the
Ed-
Way
vendor's
out in the
supposed to
pond.
do that.
Okay.
Hold on,
Well,
so
then-
let me ask this question again. Is the golf course wanting the full removal, meaning zero littoral on the lot that's they own, that there is no requirement? Is that what they want? They want zero littorals on the embankment where they own, because that's one thing, that's what they need a letter. If what they're asking is just to maintain the width to trim it down to 10 feet, they didn't even need a letter. My expectation is that at the last meeting, when this was brought it up, that staff already had the vendor over there checking this out, because it has been 30 days.
And
So
they-
I just
they
need
did.
clarification. Okay, if it's the width, they just want the width smaller, or they want a full removal, because they can have both as long as it's a silent CO. So I just need to know, what does the golf course want?
The things we're talking about are beyond what's in the pond standards. I don't have, and neither does the club have any issue on that. That's 8 to 12 feet, absolutely none. These are littorals, and they are weeds, reeds, whatever you want to call it, that are as much as 30 feet out in the water.
And it's probably the result of dry season, because that's what happened. As the water recedes, the littorals,
They grew up and came
they
back.
grow,
Yeah.
and then they get too far.
The vendor was already out and sprayed the area to confirm that it was within the standards of the contract. But if there's anything in excess of that the golf course would like, they need to make the request.
Yeah, okay, that's what they were supposed to be doing, okay. And then the last one is Weir 5. Have you gotten anywhere with the landscaping on that,
Yes.
with Mainscape,
The property owner signed the lease.
the release?
That's coming to you on the 20th, and we did receive a proposal from Mainscape that will be proceeding with. We're trying to time it with the club, and that way it's done in one fell swoop.
That's all I had. Anybody have anything else?
Just informationally, we're getting started with our streetlight project in the FPL in Pelican. It's been staked and the boring should start next 5 days or so. So we're moving right along with it.
We're in, trying to get all of our owners to go online. We as the HOA, have been going to FPL, telling them about streetlights, and they basically give us the same story, 30 to 40 days. We're now having the owners also going to FPL and citing the same deal to see if they can.
Yeah, ours is construction, not breakages.
Give them some deal, but right now, all of the poles that were put in the new, all appear to have,
The TLN number,
I'm sorry?
the TLN number.
A serial number.
Yeah.
So at least now you don't have to say it's the pole between the gazebo and this, it's got a number on it.
What's the issue? What's the issues you're having?
I'm sorry?
What's the issue you're having?
Lights are out.
Lights
Oh,
are
they're
out.
out, okay.
Now, good examples, the other night came back from dinner and pulled off at West Links off of Daniels and went by where they all queue up for the school, all the way up to Gateway Greens. All 6 of the lights are out.
So
They weren't even
just-
on.
We're finalizing the punch list. We had given them a punch list. They came out, they made the aesthetic repairs on the poles, the chipped parts, they patched those. They put the TLN numbers. Staff this weekend is going to do a final light inspection, as well as Eric Colling with FPL. He's going next week and doing a final swoop. And then staff is also going and confirming cosmetic aesthetic issues are resolved, and then that project is closed out.
Well, they're going around, they've got a guy in a truck, lift truck, and he's got a can of mortar and all of the, that's what it is, it's just basically mortar. They're going of cement. It's not concrete, it's cement. They're going up on all the construction where
That looks good.
grabbed it and they chipped the deal. They're making them look real nice. But the 2 lights that we had, the new ones that they put in Gateway Greens that were out, when we called in on those, they got those returned to service pretty quick. But West Links Drive South, boy, that was pitch dark.
And lastly, Chelsea, and this may already be handled, but in our subcommittee meetings, we have people, as we're churning and getting new members, that really don't understand how to themselves input see-click fix. And I asked Paul, and I guess I'm just reiterating it, that become an agenda item for the first 3 subsystems that meet next year, once for pond, once for, because the people need it. They need to understand this see-click
So
That
fix.
should be a regular social post for us on.
Yeah. So to take the video that we did at the President's
Yeah,
Council
because it was a
meeting-
great, that was a
Okay.
great one. And
Yeah.
just disseminate it.
Okay.
Because I talk to them, well, I don't know, what's that? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so since the FPL project in Gateway is almost closed out, almost, how would you classify it? Did it go smoothly? Did it not go smoothly? Would you do it again? What would you do differently?
I don't get a choice. We're doing it again in Pelican.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing.
Pelican's almost already started, but what,
yes, absolutely.
I'll tell you one thing we learned the hard way is that all their work is underground, basically boring.
Right.
If you don't know where your assets are located, especially irrigation type assets, lines get cut. We went to our vendor and had them fix it. Well, our vendor thinks that he's working for us while he is fixing a damage done by FPL. FPL and him weren't talking, and so we ended up with about $12,000.
The bills accumulated.
Of bills accumulating that didn't get addressed, and FPL stiffed us.
Well, we're a little bit ahead of that curve because we did have a meeting this week internally, PPCA, and because
Make
it's not an
sure-
issue at all for Cypress Grove to Prado Pistoia. That's all new. We know where everything is. But for Pelican Preserve Boulevard, we don't know where anything is.
When you have a damage, all I'm saying is make
Yeah.
sure, because keep in mind, you're not dealing with FPL, you're dealing with a sub.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you keep FPL in the loop of a damage that has to be repaired, and it was done by their crew.
If they're looking for something to be down 36 inches by code and it's at 18 inches and they cut it, that's going to be a problem.
If yours is like ours, basically anything in Gateway Greens was no as-bills.
It's Pelican
And, I
Preserve
mean,
Boulevard.
If you have a 10-foot utility easement, it could be anywhere in that 10 feet, and that's what we ended up having happen.
We have that very same thing.
Okay. Anything else?
One more thing before, just a reminder that the farmer's market starts tomorrow. So that'll be
Last
over
one.
here. It'll be across the street. It starts tomorrow and they'll be every Friday from now through March.
I think positive feedback on it.
Is that well
Yeah.
supported?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we
That's,
have
I
a
know, we
daily
all go there
run.
for lunch every Friday,
I know the one
so.
at the country club on every Wednesday is really well supported.
Yeah, we have it every
And their-
Monday
their
morning.
food, their products are fantastic.
The vegetables are excellent.
Yep. So that
From our
starts
place.
tomorrow. They'll be,
Okay.
it's from
The
9 to
tomatoes
1.
actually taste like tomatoes.
They taste like tomatoes.
Yeah.
Not preserves?